stream. So I'm here. I got both phones up since I have the. I don't have double SIM card, but I got the Wi-Fi here at the hostel. Um, I decided to just kind of one do a live stream because the last live stream I kind of did was because Matt requested one. Hey Matt, I got you on both phones, so if you see American Hobo 2, that's me obviously for anybody that doesn't know. It's just my other account. But I wanted this open so I could kind of go over some of my plans, what's coming up. We have, Port Dixon is not a big spot for, first off, let me show you where I'm at. This is the pool area in the back. I know you guys kind of seen it. Expat, how you doing, my brother? I'm gonna just do kind of a little walk around. Not too. I'm not gonna go up in the rooms really because people are still sleeping up there. They're doing a little construction over here. I can't hear it on the inside. So I can't hear it on the inside because the walls are, well, look at the walls. They're big old cement walls, so not much comes through. And I'm on the far side of the building. I'm not on this side, I'm on the opposite side, facing the street. You guys probably seen this in the videos. Nice clean pool, and nice sitting area. And that's my coffee over there. The showers, they got lots of showers, but I kind of went over all this. It's in my video. So this is where I'm sitting and having a cup of coffee right now. Oh, this one's good. This one has ginseng in it. Ginseng and a few other things for the extra little bit of perk. So this is my castle for the last few days. And I'm preparing myself. I was thinking about actually leaving today, but down in Port Dixon, they don't really have hostels. They have hotels, and they don't really even have cheap hotels. So like the cheapest you're gonna get, I think Doug showed me one that I think it was around the $20 range, but weekend prices, they go up. So I'm figuring I'm gonna have to go there and at least stay one night. I mean, I could go about 7 or 8 kilometers to the south, and there's that campground that I found. But I think when I get to Port Dixon, I just want the next day to get on the boat and take off for Sumatra. So I'll probably stay one night, but I didn't want to pay weekend prices. I want to pay weekday prices, which is a lot less. So I figured that since here in KL, they have the cheaper accommodations. I extended the stay here 2 more nights till Monday. And then Monday I'll just push my bike onto the KTM train and take it south. Let's see, who else we got here? And I'll be taking it to Serembam. Serembam is about 66 kilometers south of here. But then once we get down to Serembam, I'll have to ride my bicycle down the, what is that, the E29? Or at least one of the, if the E29 down to Port Dixon area. It's a slow train, so it takes over an hour to get there, even though it's only 66 kilometers. That's crazy. That's only like a kilometer. That can't be that slow. Yeah, I gotta double check that. I thought it said an hour or something, but that's only 66 kilometers away. So, see what we got in the chat room here. Expat, Matt, we got Flea. Yeah. All that matters are right here. Yeah, but like 60 kilometers and it takes over an hour, that's like 1 kilometer an hour. And a person walks faster than that. They walk, what, 5 kilometers an hour? So, yeah, that the math is not adding up in my head. No matter how many stops we actually make. Um, so it is what it is. The main thing is I'm gonna get out of KL on my bicycle. Last time I was trying to get out of KL on my bicycle, it took me all day to get 32 kilometers. And I ended up having to stay basically within KL again, still. I mean, all day just get 32 kilometers outside. That was crazy. Um, okay, pro tip, have a spare bungee to tie off bike on, yeah, bike on the train. Yeah, I think I have my old 26-inch tire, uh, tube. I'm going to actually cut that up into a bungee cord. I'm not able to find that heavy-duty, like industrial rubber band type strap that I was able to locate in Vietnam. I've tried at a lot of hardware shops thinking they were more common, because when I bought them, I bought 2 of them. I'm like, well, this other one's just dead weight. That one's lasted me a long time, but it's getting a little dry rot and it likes to snap. I just retie it. But that thing's been awesome because, so the next rubber bandage type thing would be one of the inner tubes on the bicycle, but it doesn't have nearly as much stretch as that rubber band does, because that thing's a legit rubber band, just a big old fatty one. But cheers, guys. So yeah, so Monday, shooting for Monday, one night. If I get down there, I'll have to leave not on the peak hours, which is before 8 o'clock, so that's fine. I'll get down there around noon, go buy the ticket in person, because even if I call on the WhatsApp, I guess they don't book for the northern port. So what I mean by the northern port is, there's 2 ports. So Tuluk Nabung passenger terminal, that's the one that's up north. I know it's backwards, sorry guys, I never figured that out. And yes, I messed with all the settings and stuff. So if I go up to the northern, and I'll be able to get to Lake Toba and take the route that Doug's took this route before on his bicycle. I'm going to look up his old playlist. He has an old playlist of his whole time of cycling through Sumatra and stuff. I'm going to start watching those just to know basically what to expect. But I'm definitely going to get off the east coast and get to the west coast of Sumatra. The roads are better and stuff. And once I get there, I'll hit the coastal route. And since I got the C1, the C1 gives me 2 months. And I was thinking, well, I got to be out in 2 months. And Doug's like, why don't you just get an extension? It's super easy to get an extension. And the only thing, I wasn't thinking about that, because since I've never done it before, it's like, it's just not dawning on me. So all I need someone like a local to sign the paper, a paper, like anybody that's working at the hostel or the hotel. Doug says you just pick up the slip from immigration, which there's an immigration office everywhere. It's very simple. It's just have someone sign it, as long as it's a local of Sumatra, or Indonesia, then it's acceptable, and then I can get the extension for another 2 months. But that will allow me to travel the full length of Sumatra all the way down to Bali, and then cross over. I'm trying to look at the route that I'd be taking if I go all the way down to Bali, and then try and cross over into like southern Indonesia. So I'm looking at the ferry terminals and stuff, and then I'll head back up north until I reach all the way up north. I'll be landing probably on the southern part of the island. Actually, the ferry terminal I found was actually in a spot called Samanda, I think. I think that's where it actually would, the ferry ends up. It runs up that lake or something. If not, it'll be in that location. And then I can start cycling around that side of Sumatra. I'll have 4 months to actually cycle all of Sumatra because, like I said, I'm trying to see the whole world. So, then once I get back up onto the road that I planned, right? So I'll be taking this coast all the way back up to Malaysia, and then from Malaysia, I'll be kind of following the same route Usfin from Let's Go Cycling. I'm kind of going to follow his footsteps since he's already done it. I'll just take whatever ferries, and I didn't watch his last video, so I don't know how he got to the Philippines. So, but I'm planning on crossing to the Philippines, and that'll be the last island eastbound before I go start heading south. So Philippines to Papua New Guinea to Australia. And then it's all camping in Australia. There is no way I'm going to be paying those prices. I'll barely be able to afford the food there. So, I mean, I'll be able to afford the food, just like in America, it's expensive. But in America, you can either afford food and not afford the housing, or you can afford housing and not afford the food. And I'm pretty sure that Australia is the same way, at least that's what I'm told, by other Americans that went there. They're like, yeah, it's basically the same as the United States. So that's easy. I did it in the United States, just go full-blown hobo, you know, full-blown homeless. And they're camp friendly. When it comes to Australia, though, I'm going to be hugging the east side. I talked to some people that are from Australia, and they said you don't want to be anywhere on the west side. It's all desert, west side, and definitely don't try and cross through the center of it. So I'm going to go basically Papua New Guinea, land somewhere up north here, and then just follow the coastal route on the east side. I'm going to stay away from the west side. So, and that's it. And then New Zealand's after that. And New Zealand has that long trail that I've been eyeballing for a long time. Hopefully I can... Australia is actually going to be a longer trip than both islands on New Zealand. So I think New Zealand's like 3,000 kilometers, and we just measured Australia the other day, and it's basically just from the north to the south. I think more than that. So yeah, Australia is a big island. That's a big landmass. So anyway, guys, that's kind of like the whole plan. You know, that's like, but I don't get like that's just a generalization of what I'm planning on doing, like the northeast, southwest type planning. But when it comes to the finer points, I kind of make that up as I'm getting to that point, because so many plans can just change in between. So it's better just to have a general direction and which way the wind's blowing and follow that. And that was a whole mouthful. So let's see. Oh crap! Sorry guys, I didn't see the chat moving, so I didn't think there was anything in there. Doug's here. Let me catch up on the chat real quick. Matt, you know how you're a pilot? I said, have you met Ted Stryker? That's before your time, brother. At a movie called Airplane. It was like a hilarious movie. You should go watch it. So I was just being a smart ass when I said, do you know Ted Stryker? Yeah, it's a classic movie. That's when they could get they were a lot less woke back in those days, and they could get a lot. If you ever seen Blazing Saddles, you'll understand what the movies could get away with back then. So Airplane was kind of like that. Let's see. Let's see. So there's an engineer. Fine. It has to stop for the fast train. Okay, so the train being slow, Flea says it has to stop for the fast trains to pass, so it's a low priority train. Uh, and the tracks are being refurbished. Okay, so that's why it only goes 1 kilometer per minute, basically. What was I thinking? My math was all wrong in my head. So it's not going that slow. Well, it's going, yeah, for some reason I was thinking it was going slower than walking speed. No, that's because I haven't had my coffee. Sorry, guys. I retract everything I said earlier. There is an engineering work on the line. Yet, I have a cargo bike. Uses old tubes to strap down the loads. Yeah. A lot of people use the tubes to strap down loads. Okay, Doug says you also need a photocopy of their Indonesian ID card. Okay, thank you, Doug. And immigration might ask your sponsor to come in with you for a short interview, so it might not be as easy. Okay, I'll keep that in mind, Doug. So, but I should be able to find someone. Hopefully they don't ask that. New Zealand costs a little more than Australia. Good to know. Yeah, I know both of those countries are going to be expensive, so I'm planning on hitting them at the right season, especially New Zealand, because from what I understand, there's a difference in the two islands. One's tropical and one's not, definitely not. So I'll have to time New Zealand just right. Because of the difference in, well, I'm not a lover of the cold, just because when you're homeless, you can deal with the heat. You just pull into some shade and stop moving and drink plenty of water. But when it comes to the cold, you just can't get out of the cold. And if you don't do something about it, hyperthermia comes in and becomes a really bad danger, especially if it's wet and the wind is picking up. You get the wind chill. So yeah, cold is one of the things I dread. I mean, I remember many a times just sitting and shivering all through the night and just praying for the sun to peak, come up over. And as soon as the sun peaks up over and the rays of sunlight just hit you and you feel that warmth, you automatically are like, but you stayed up all night just shivering and you're not being able to sleep. That when the sun comes up and hits you, you end up just exhausted and you fall asleep. And then when you wake up, the sun's already setting, or there's only a few hours in the day, and you get in a cycle that's a very dangerous cycle. But because now you're up all night again, shivering and cold, you didn't have any time during the daytime to fix that problem of being cold. You didn't have time to. But you basically slept through the time that you should have been building a shelter or something else. So, yeah, staying up all night, shivering and stuff, and sleeping during the day just because the sun's warming you up, that's a dangerous cycle to get in. But it's hard not to get into that. You really have to force yourself to keep moving and through the misery until you get out of the misery, until you can build your shelter, do something to put you in a better situation at nights. But so that makes you hate the cold. It really does. It really makes you where you're not friends with the cold at all. Like I said, heat. Give me heat any day. Just leave me leave me. So I don't want to go down to New Zealand and have to deal with their winters and stuff. So I'm gonna time New Zealand. Window, Hobo, you are not much older than me. Are you 79? Yeah, you said that once, Matt. You said that we're basically from the same era. Then you should know the movie Airplane. Your dad probably watched it. It was one of my dad's favorite movies. Although it was a little risky for us kids. It was, it's the same guy that did Naked Gun and all this stuff. So my parents were really cautious about what type of movies we as kids we actually watched. It was like no sex, no language, nothing like this. So I grew up on a diet of the Three Stooges. When we would have movie night, because the property I grew up on didn't have electricity. Well, it didn't have running water at first either. We had to go down to the little stream during the summer times and stuff. But once the winter started hitting, it started getting cold. Then we'd take the water from down there and bring it up and heat up the water and just take a bird bath, a sponge bath. We had propane stove. So we took our baths in the creek. We didn't have power except for a generator. They wanted way too much money to run power lines over the hill and down to our property, which was 2 acres out in the middle of nowhere. They wanted something like $20,000 way back then in the 80s. My dad's like, no, I bought this property because I couldn't afford a house anywhere else. How am I supposed to pay for that? So we were strictly generator power. And so as a treat, we would, that was back in the days you rented a VCR, and the movie of choice was Three Stooges, because you knew it didn't have any sex in it, knew it didn't have any language in it, and we'd roll the TV and the VCR outside with bing bags and sit under the stars and watch the Three Stooges, as a family, and that was fun. Anyway, that's a little insight to how I kind of grew up roughing it in the sticks. Yeah, you got it, Flea. Don't call me Shirley. Shirley, you got to be joking. I'm not joking, and stop calling me Shirley. Exactly. Flying on instruments. Yeah, some people know the movie Airplane. Don't worry, I speak jive. That old lady. Don't worry, I can speak jive. Let's see. Hey, my Rose channel's here. How you doing? It's my Rose channel. I met her and her husband. Very, very nice people. I actually hung out a little with, I met actually the rest of Irish. Most of the times it was just me and Irish go out bicycling, or he's been helping me with the bicycle, picking it up and everything. I met his boy. His boy's an American Hobo fan. And so I finally got to meet his wife the other day. And very, very great family. And yeah, that's the one I gave the bicycle to, so the son's got the bicycle. He's all stoked. But he's like, I wanted to be on, last time I didn't put him on YouTube just because sometimes there's a privacy issue with a person's family, even though they don't mind being on YouTube. Especially with, a pious Muslim family. The wife usually declines, and, the kids and stuff. But it wasn't like that. Erish's son wanted to be on YouTube, so I got him a little on yesterday's film. When I went and met him, I picked up the bicycle part that Erish ordered me through the mail. They came yesterday, and so I'm ready. I'm ready for the road. Let's see. So anyway, yeah, Rose and her husband was another person, great people that I met here in KL. Who dat hobo? Flash in the pan. Good to meet. I'm assuming brother. So nice to meet you, brother. I don't know if I've seen you over on my channel before, but that's cool. Welcome to American Hobo. I'm Daniel, by the way. Yeah. Oh, so he says you can shiver her to death on the beach of North Florida, believe it or not. So Florida's very, like, I was in Tennessee during the COVID, living in the tent, working in that truck stop, cleaning poo and, and showers and stuff. But before that, I was in Hawaii, and it was crazy because I was escaping a really bad winter. So, like, from Elko, Nevada, I was trying to snowbird to Texas, and the winter just wiped out Texas too. It was one of those really bad ones, and that's when I remember another old hobo told me, hey, when winters get too bad, it's not inexpensive, just buy a one-way ticket to Hawaii, and it's 70 degrees all the time, well 80 degrees all the time out there. And I did that, and it was funny because going over there, people are complaining, I almost shivered to death last night, it was so cold. I'm like, it was like 72 degrees last night. So yeah, Florida has a very tropical, but it depends on if your body's acclimated to what weather. You know, just the smallest in temperature difference, if your body's used to that warmer weather, you know, yeah, you just got to acclimate to the, like, I've been really warm in cold weather, just being layered right and stuff like that. Like when I was in Elko, Nevada, it was pretty well, I mean, I said it was one of the worst temperatures, but I rolled up in basically the clothing I had and fell asleep before, just basically in the snow. It was just because I was layered right, and yeah, and I was drinking a lot too, and that actually, the alcohol will actually release your body heat, which will bring down your core temperature. So if you're a drinker, you definitely have to be layered right because you need to trap that heat in. But when it does release, if you trap it in, you can't. Alcohol does, it's like, alcohol helps you ignore the fact that you're cold. But it doesn't help with your body core temperature. Your body core temperature does lose heat because of the release of the heat. So especially if you're a drinker, you definitely need to make sure you're layering right. But it does have that painkiller effect where the cold just doesn't matter as much because you're a little on the happy side. But yeah, so I wouldn't doubt that you could shiver to death in North Florida, especially on the whole east side of Florida. It rains all the time. All you need is a good rain to get you wet, and that wind whipping up, and it just to be like a little cold. And yeah, let's see. Doug says, what do you still need to do in Kuala Lumpur to prepare for a Sumatra trip? Any errands left? Not really, Doug. Like I said, I'm just avoiding the high prices of Port Dickson because I'm planning I'm going to have to at least one night there. And so if I went down now, I'd be leaving like the next day. So when I was talking to you about the hours, I was thinking it was before 8 o'clock that I have to be on the train. And you pointed out, I'm talking about Doug here. Doug pointed out that, no, it's after 8 o'clock. You know, that's, so, you know, to like 3 p.m. So after 8 to 3 p.m., you can bring your bicycle on the train. I'm like, oh, that's perfect because they don't even kick you out to the hostel till about noon. If it takes like an hour and a half to get there, no problem. And then I can check in for one night, go get my ticket that night and leave the next day. That way I only have to pay for one night, you know. But nothing really here, Doug. So if there's anything that you want to do before Monday, go hit me up, and then we'll go do it. Other than that, it's really not much of anything. Maybe educate myself a little. Oh, Matt Ryder Adventures. Matt did, okay, I'll look up on YouTube, Matt Ryder Adventures. I wonder if Matt did New Zealand full length. Okay, I'll look him up because I'd like to see which kind of route that he might have taken. I think I actually watched Matt Ryder's videos before. But it's kind of weird because YouTube, just because you subscribe to that channel doesn't necessarily give you a bunch from that, like that genre. But if you save one of their videos in your watch later, then it'll send you a bunch of videos from that genre. So like, just because I'm subscribed to several, like, let's say cycling channels, it won't flood me with cycling channels until I actually take one of their videos, throw it in the watch later. So if you guys want to get more suggestions from a certain type of, you know, like Same way with news channels and stuff like that. If you feel like you're getting too biased on one side of your news, well, just save one video from the other side, the far left or the far right, and then it'll start giving you picks from that, because a lot of times it'll put you in an echo chamber, and you only, the algorithm puts you in what you're going to watch longest. So it'll throw you in an echo chamber, and you just hear news from that one point of view or whatever. But that's just something I learned. Probably you guys all knew about that already, but yeah, okay, after 9:30 I can put my bicycle on the train. Okay, not 8 o'clock. Okay. All right, who dat? Who dat dare? I saw the movie My Way. Oh, The Way. The Way. Okay, it says, I saw the movie The Way. That's about the Camino Trail. I think I suggested that to Rose. A great movie. Like the conversation between the son and the dad. Yeah, it's like, he says, there's some good lines in there, actually. Yeah, so it's like the dad says something, what type of life is that? Or it's like, yeah, the son's name is Daniel. That was actually what my parents had a problem with that. So I had a stepmom and a father, and they watched that movie because they knew I was a traveling vagabond. But the fact that the son dies at the very beginning, and his son's name is Daniel, that my stepmom couldn't watch it, because a lot of times they didn't know where I was for long periods of time and stuff, because well, you're a vagabond. You don't necessarily stay in touch with. I mean, sometimes you try, but you just slack on it, and it becomes more common the older you get that you might be gone for a year or 2 years without anybody actually knowing where you're at. Well, about a year. So yeah, they had a hard time with that movie. My dad loved it, but that's why I went to and found the Camino Trail. It was like I saw the movie and I was like, I never heard of the trail. And then if you get on the Camino Trail, they did the Francis. You realize a lot of people are there because of that movie. There's also there's a German book that's very popular too. So usually the German people are there because they they read the German book, and everyone else is there because they saw the movie The Way, which is an awesome movie. Do they celebrate Halloween in Malaysia? Yeah. I mean, it's not as big as in the States, but I went to so right here, you're paying after the Malaysian tax and stuff, so it's about between $6 and $7. They clean non-stop here. The bathrooms are cleaned like 3 times per shift, so like 9 times a day basically. Someone's always cleaning the kitchen. It's like they have a clean sheet. They're like required. They're not just like, come on in, sit around, do nothing. The owner of the establishment, they're called Mingle. So this is the Manor by Mingle. This one's poolside by Mingle. We went over to the Chinatown Hostel by Mingle, and it was sign up here, but it's a free barbecue. So I got that on video for yesterday. I'm just going to be putting 2 videos together because all yesterday was only 14 minutes. So I'll put 2 days together. And but yeah, it's free barbecue. I mean, big barbecue. They had chicken burgers, they had fried chicken, corn, everything, and it was on the rooftop. And I got to film the inside of that hostel, and it's the same way. Super clean. They have a rooftop like infinity pool, small pool, but still up there. And down below they have a cafe and stuff, and that's right in Chinatown. I'm like, wow, these guys are taking over, because the low quality of the hotels and the low quality of the service at the hotels and the hostels, and how dirty the hostels are in general, the Mingle has no competition. They go in, they do top service, top cleaning. You get free fruit here. You know, they actually buy fruit and put it out every day, just where you eat oranges and apples for free. You know, you got water for free, clean refrigerator. You know, it's like all, and like yesterday, barbecue just free. You know, it's just like, and all this on like on a cheap budget. You know, less than $10. And yeah, and it was like, wow, these guys are gonna kill it. They're just gonna own the whole. They're gonna own the whole industry of cheap travel, because they're putting out a decent product, and they're packed here almost all the time. You know, I mean, once people discover that instead of going to the other cheap ones, which are like bed bugs and they don't change the sheets and stuff. So anyway, highly recommend any of their properties. If it says buy Mingle, definitely go to them. It'll be your top choice, and it'll probably be one of the cheaper. The Chinatown hostel one was just as cheap as this place. Okay, so van. Did I bicycle through Laos yet? So when I came over from Japan, I was still in my walking phase. So I hiked the Camino and I hiked the Kimono Kodo, and I climbed a few mountains like Mount Fuji and Mount Antak, the two holy mountains in Japan. I climbed those. I mean, hiked them. You know, there wasn't really too much of this. So when I came back over here just to kind of recoup, because those are more expensive countries, and I need something to offset my spending and let my bank account kind of recoup itself. You know, go from spending above my means to going to spending below my means. And so I landed in Bangkok. In Bangkok, I went up north to Pai and stuff, but I was doing like motor scooter. So I wasn't into the bicycle yet. And so I did northern Thailand, scootered around, didn't film any of this. I took a plane to Laos, or Lao, and then they only give you 1 month, so it was a lot of bus trips. So I went way out in the middle of the small little villages and stuff, where the only way to get out there is to actually take a boat up, like a boat taxi, like a little small boat taxi, and you get as far up as possible, and you get to these really small villages with like one little like hostel, and it was pretty, like $3 a night too, you know, cheap. But the mayor is actually the chief, and you just talk to the chief. If you need anything, he'll take you around, and because it's so small, he knows who serves what. Like, oh, this person cooked you dinner, this person, you know, and it's kind of like, yeah, they each chief actually, or mayor, promotes his own little village to the tourists, because it brings income. And you know, everybody, even if you're in a farming community, you have to buy stuff. You know, you got to buy stuff like seed, and you know. Anyway, yeah. So I was still in the traveling by. Then after Laos, I went over to Vietnam, did the Hai Gayong loop on Easy Rider on the back of a scooter. The Cao Bong loop, and then I bought a bicycle, and then I started there in Vietnam. So that's a quick explanation. So I didn't get the bicycle through Laos, and actually I'm not sure. Given 1 month, I did Cambodia in a month. I don't know. Laos is so much. The terrain in Laos is very hard. The dirt roads are crazy, and I just see that kicking the crap out of me. So, but I traveled there. I just didn't start my bicycling journey until I hit Vietnam, and it was only to see if I could do Vietnam. I was like, that's why one of the reasons I bought the cheap bicycle is so that kept the option open of me just giving it to a kid, grabbing my backpack, and continuing on foot. But I just never stopped. So, and I don't see myself stopping any time in the future, because I see it as a really great way to see the whole world. You know, instead of doing plane tick, I'd rather do it on bicycle than do it by plane, train, or anything else. Um, Honestly, although it's kind of like in a you don't get to see as many, let's say, touristy spots because a lot of it's just traveling in a straight line. I see a lot. I mean, if you look at my videos, I see a lot just from just taking the road, you know. So it's not like I'm lacking on anything. So it looks like my plans are slowly shifting to just world travel on a bicycle. Just keep, you know, do it until I can't do it anymore, and I don't see myself ever not being able to do it. So I know Matt will probably like that. And now, if I do reserve the right to, if a different adventure, like I'm still tempted to do a long trip, like rafting trip, but that could always, I could save that for a bucket list. I mean, I can't make my bucket list too long because, well, you know, Core Zone is a cool place if you want to browse more expensive high-end gear as opposed to Decathlon. And Planet Doug, why would you think I would? How about a good used area? I'm up for like, I'm one of those people that, you know, I don't really like shopping because one, it doesn't fit in a backpack. Two, it's not really affordable to me. But I do like good deals. So like I like in the United States, Salvation Army, Goodwill, any type of thrift store. Flea markets are all right too, but flea markets a lot of haggle. I don't like haggling, so I'm not a big haggler. I like to see a price and buy it for that price. And when you go to a flea market, everybody wants a haggle. So haggle, that means bargain back and forth. Yeah, I'm going to. Oh, okay, so the question is, sorry. Hey, Van, you said, will I ever bike from Asia to Europe? Right. Yeah. That's why I said it looks like I'm going to keep planning on doing the bicycling and just bicycle the whole world. So once I run if you go back to the beginning of this live stream, I was kind of showing my route that I'm going to take. Once I get down to New Zealand, I still qualify as a cheap bicycle. So if it's too expensive to take my bicycle, like ship it or something, it'll be the first time I ever ship something. I can always give up my bicycle, take a plane up to, let me pull it up. So I'm not sure if you can see all the blue dots here. All the blue dots are where I've stayed and where I've cycled. So I started cycling way up in Vietnam, right up there, right? Ignore that very top one. And I cycled all the way down, right, through Cambodia, through Thailand, down to Malaysia, did the full circle all the way around the whole peninsula of Malaysia. Now I'm heading over to Sumatra. I'm going to take the island all the way down to basically Java. Java, I'm going to go up to Borneo, right? Sorry, blinked. And then basically circle through that, make my way over to Philippines, then go down south to Papua New Guinea to Australia over to New Zealand. After I'm done with New Zealand, then I'll hop on a plane and go up past Burma, because right now I don't think Burma's, I'm not able to get through Burma. Most cyclists, well, the cyclist I met from Japan, he's bypassing Burma. So he's cycling up to Burma, and then he has to get on a plane, go over Burma, and he's going to start over. I'm not sure if he's starting in Bangladesh, but that whole area. Just so I might have to bypass Burma and start cycling to India, and then India, just keep going until I get through Europe and all that stuff, and basically get back over to Morocco, and then figure out what I'm going to do about Africa. But yeah, so van, yes, I do plan on cycling through through Europe, but yeah, I plan on cycling through Europe, but I'll have to hop a few spots. Probably like China's a no-go, Russia's a no-go, and I think, and I do believe that Burma's also a no-go. So, but I'll see. It's just I want to finish this area of the world first. So I want to finish this, like all of it down here. That way I don't have to come back to it. Now Japan and all that I hiked through. So I hiked through Japan. So I already did my adventure in Japan. It was just on foot and not on bicycle. So hope that answered that. Let's see. Free, that's why I wrote. Okay, yeah, cheap or free. That's why I wrote browse and not shop. Yeah, that well at Core Zone. Well, I can't window shop because window shopping kind of stimulates that I want feeling, right? Now, I want feeling is something that's really hard to get away from. But when you free yourself of the world, you gain the world. You know, you have to free yourself of the actual possessions and the I want feeling. So I try and veer away from all malls and stuff like that because of that. Because all you're doing is you're stimulating, you're getting that endorphin fix by stimulating that I want this and I want that feeling. But honestly, it's just so I mean, I like window shopping at like thrift stores and stuff too, but when it gets down to it, I kind of try and avoid that. So yeah, check out all the gear that you can't afford, and yeah, just because certain gear. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to get too far down that. Not just because certain gear is popular doesn't make it the better choice. So, and I know a lot of people they're like, oh, this is where I click off of you. Like when it comes to Preston valves versus Schrader valves. The fact is Preston valves suck. They're just because they're the popular choice. They're like, oh, they're better. Well, okay. Why are they better? Honestly. And if you say, well, they get higher pressure, well, on a truck tire, those are all Schrader valves. And if those truck tires, like the big rigs, blow, and you're next to them, you'll break your arm, you'll take off your head. That's a lot of pressure. Your bicycle's not going to hold that pressure. The only other thing the Preston valves when they were invented way back in the days, was because the smaller rim on when like bike packing first started and stuff, and just in general the smaller rims and stuff like this, it was less material. I mean, it was a smaller valve. So I'm on a mountain bike. It's thicker. So a lot of the professional riders are drilling out their Preston holes to make it bigger for a Schrader valve, and that's why instead of trying to argue with anybody, that person just like put it the best. But I also had to do my research too. I didn't know, but everybody says, oh, they're better. Go research it and make sure that you're not. So I'm not sure if you guys ever ran into sheep, right? And ever seen what's called a sheep tornado. That's where you can't get around them because one is just following the other. Their instinct to survive is to follow the butt ahead of them. So they put their nose towards that butt and just follow it. But if you get a circle going, then they're just all following each other in a circle. And if you're in a car, you can't get past them and stuff like this because they're just nonstop. We have the same instinct, built into us. We just naturally follow the person ahead of us, hoping that they know better, and we blindly accept whatever they say is as the truth, and that's what you get with the Preston valve. But the Preston valve is just basically too many parts. They break and stuff, and this is where everybody clicks off. You know, it's like, but do some research. If you can bring up a good reason why the Preston valve is actually better, besides the high pressure, and besides that, well, the smaller hole for, you know, the stability of the rim. I'm riding a thicker rim. Explain why they're better, and you know, I'll listen. But as far as I know, all the research in the world shows that the Schrader valve's better. And anyway, so it's blindly following the person in front of you. Just because they're the more popular choice doesn't make them a better choice. So now the same way with like tubeless tires, right? That's something you could look at and say, I don't see why the tubeless tires are better than tube tires. But if you do a little research, you'll realize, oh no, there's legit reasons that back up this. You know, tubeless is better. Once you go tubeless, there's no real, you know, but not the valves. When it comes to the valves, it's just, that's not like, so if you guys can tell me why it's better, then I hold the right to change my mind to wherever the evidence leads. So, okay, here we go. We got Matt. He's a rider though. Get a box for the bike and take a checked bag on the plane. Likely, but method is both costly and reliable. Yeah, I don't think it's too expensive, Matt, to actually ship them. From what I understand, you say is the most overlooked part on a bicycle. What parts need to be high quality? Tires come to mind, or what else? Tires, yeah, because how many flats? If you're riding a derailleur, that was the biggest problem I had. The derailleurs, just nightmare. Because if you get crappy derailleurs, there's no fixing a crappy derailleur. And this is the first time I'll know better because I have better derailleurs. But I'll tell you what gave me the most problems, because once the derailleurs are crap, you just have to stick them one gear and just ride in that gear all the time. And then the teeth start wearing out on that one gear and you got to switch to a different gear, the next closest one. Crappy derailleurs are my biggest headache, but it's too hot. Okay, Burma is too hot. I'm assuming you mean too hot like in dangerous and all that. State Department has posted dangerous countries on their website. I'd wager Canada does the same. Yeah, so that's what I'm assuming. That's why I had to bypass Burma. The best valve. Now, there's other valves besides those two, Matt. Besides the Schrader versus Preston, but they're just not. I don't have no idea about those. So like. I'm pretty positive there's one that beats them all. It's just I'm not informed when it comes to that. Plus, it takes a while for anything to become set standard, and those two are set standards. So, your bike Preston valves are best for road and high performance bikes due to their lighter weight, narrow design, and ability to handle high pressure. Matt, you just stated all the things I said. You can't state those because the higher pressure, like I said, Schrader valves on truck tires, right? So your bicycle tire is never going to reach that point. Yeah, on road bikes, definitely there's a reason for the narrow design of the Preston valve on road bikes, definitely, because they have the thinner. So no, that's a legit, that by far, hands down, I'm not arguing with that one. But the pressure, I really, and the lighter weight, just because they're smaller, that little thing, it's that you're not going to notice the weight difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? It's just a valve. So, but yeah, for road bikes, Matt, definitely. Um, but I'm not accepting the higher pressure one. And yeah, not no, no, I reject that. Washers are better for casual mountain or hybrid bikes because they are more common and easier to use with service station and air compressors. Yeah, and also with these countries like Matt, like these where I'm going, uh, they're all pumps are basically. It's like okay, what are pumps? All pumps are basically Schrader valves with the adapter for the Preston valve. All truck tires, all car tires, these are all just Schrader valve, Schrader valve. So the more common use, and not just that, the check out the video that I posted, Matt. Uh, Basically, why the press, like in my post section, you understand what more or less the argument. Um, but I think a lot of the Preston valve is just they're garbage. They really are. They're a pain in the ass. They're finicky. They break. You don't screw down the tip, your air leaks out. I know a lot of people that, but I guess that's. I think it's a placebo effect too. If you think something's better, you're gonna make something. You're gonna, it's gonna always be better in your mind. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I just don't like those valves for some reason. But I posted that video and I started really looking into it too, just because I wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong. And yeah, and you know how it is. It's just really hard to find anything that says why they're better. It's just they're. Um, But for a mountain bike, because of the wider rim, it's better just, and being in Indonesia, all the pumps and stuff like that. I'm carrying my own pump, but just in case I had that one pump blow, the hose on it blow, and I had to tape it up and stuff, and that helped a little, but there's always that possibility. Yeah, it's kind of weird that the hose blew on a pump, but it was a cheap hand pump. Yeah, so I think, yeah, Preston is for the, I don't think, yeah, you can't do Schrader on I don't think you can do Schrader I think you have to go Preston on the tubeless. At least that's all the tubeless ones I've ever seen. So if I do an upgrade on my bicycle, it will go to tubeless just because that way you don't really have flats after that. But that'll have to be something I look into. Matt, I know you're way more knowledgeable on all this, and me, I'm just being opinionated. So, you know, is the saddle okay? The most important thing is the saddle. A lot of people say that, and what happened was I ended up. So I had the narrower seat. It was just a cheap one, right? And anyway, the cushioning fell off it, and there's like staples kind of sticking through because it was cheap. And I replaced it, but the only ones they had at the Mr. DIY here, which is kind of like a cheap, I don't know, it's a cheap electronic and store with Mr. Do It Yourself. The name should explain it all. They only had two really seats, and it was the wider back ones with a cushion and stuff. Those are terrible, man, because when you're cycling, that's like I don't know, it just rubs me wrong. So I'm back to the narrower saddle on my on this bicycle. I'm going to keep those from now on. But yeah, if the wrong saddle, I can really see how it affects your driving or your comfort level. But any regrets going for hammock the last month instead of a lightweight tent? Yeah, I mean, honestly, now I don't want the hammock campers to kill me because all the stealth campers and stuff they're like, anytime you see a lot of self-campers like the hammock and stuff. And a lot of people back in the days, like David Canterbury and stuff like this, it was like all you need is basically a hammock and a tarp, right? And then you're off the ground and all this stuff for like wind, for rain and all this. But honestly, a tent is way less picky. That's why I got one. So I went to Maiden down the way, and their tent was like 56 ringgit, which makes it like $12 or something, 58 ringgit. But it was on sale for 30 ringgit. So I got a two-person tent, dome style, but two-person, meaning one person can lay down comfortably in it with some bags next to them. It was only $7.50, so like 30 ringgit after tax because it was on sale. So for $7.50, it's a small, compact small. But now I don't have to go around everywhere at night and look for a tree. And the hammocks. So when you're camping, you kind of want to set up camp as it's going dark, right? That way, and a lot of people don't see you setting up camp with a bicycle and all your gear and stuff like this in the daylight, and then you're sitting around for an hour for the sun to go down, and everybody's walking by your bike and checking out your gear and all this stuff. So it's kind of better, I think, when you're bike packing to set up as the sun's setting and stuff. Set up real quick. It's dark, no one sees you, out of sight, out of mind. But you can't do that with a hammock because you need to walk around, look for two trees and all this, and set it up. And sometimes, hammocks are way picky. So in my years, a nice little dome tent sets up fast, tears down fast, and as long as you got a little mat to sleep on or something, you don't have to worry about the ground sucking out all your body heat and stuff. And all you need is one of those silver liners for your window in your car that reflects the sun. That's all I carry around. Those pack really small. It'll keep you warm at night, and it's minimalistic. So for that one reason, I still have my Hennessy hammock. It's expensive. I'm not going to get rid of it. It'll be the primary thing that I do use. But for those nights when I need to set up quickly or there's not two trees that are evenly spaced apart, the tent's going to come in handy. So the tent gives me a larger variety of areas that I can actually sleep at. So if you get a choice over the two, hammock or tent, a true vagabond's going to choose a tent. Because you're going to be sleeping in it all the time, not just once in a while. More of the weekend warriors probably going to choose the hammock because they're going to go out, set up the hammock. It's awesome. I mean, it is. I mean, sleeping in a hammock is very comfortable. So yeah. So I hope that answers that. yeah. There's little regrets. Oh, are you looking for my Facebook? I'm hardly ever on that one. Hang on, let me put it in the bottom here. There you go. Matt. I got Messenger. I just downloaded Messenger. A lot of times I neglect my Facebook. I don't even use it. So, Matt, if you want to send me like a Messenger, a friend request or something like that, I'll try and get you my a way to kind of get a hold of me since you can't get on Telegram. Get a hold of me through Facebook, and I'll send you my, what am I thinking? My WhatsApp number. I just don't want to put my WhatsApp number like on YouTube where everybody can get it, because remember Mr. Catfish. So yeah, get a hold of me on Facebook, and I'll send you my WhatsApp number, and that way you'll have a direct line to me to chat or whatever. I have a few people that I keep in touch that way. No, I don't, Matt. I don't read my messages, but I'll go back there and look. Um, sorry, I just noticed all these. Oh, my body weight and belongings are also to be taken into consideration in order to ensure your bike is good enough to perform. Okay. I don't know what the reference to that is, but dual mode camping. Yeah, so that's the problem right now. The tent is cheap, cheap, and it's small and lightweight. And I'm running into the issue where the tent is actually the better option, but I have a lot of money invested in the in the uh, in the hammock. It's a $200 hammock. You know, a Hennessy hammock is not a cheap hammock by far. So I'm kind of stuck one of those things. That's why I bought a cheap bicycle so I can ditch it. Now I have a hammock that I'm not willing to ditch because it's a nice hammock. I've used it since Japan, like all the time. So it's already paid for itself easily. Just in Japan alone, it paid for itself. So I'm not willing to give that up for the cheap tent. So right now I'm overpacking on my sleeping system. I'm not going ultralight. So the better choice is for me to figure out which one I'm going to stick to and only use that one. It's kind of the same way with my tarp. I have two tarps. The smaller one, which is more stealthy and easier to put up, requires less room. And the big one, which is better for like heavy rains where I'm stuck for a day or two because of hard monsoons, because now I have room to cook a little underneath or just relax better because the tarp's bigger. There's weight that I can be actually cut, but every time you cut weight, you're cut in your comfort level too. So right now I can afford to carry around a little extra weight because that tent doesn't weigh a lot, and what I'm going to receive in comfort level, because I can just set that up quickly. I did get the smallest one. Like I said, it would only been like $1.50 more to get the next step up, the 4-person one. Well, basically 2 people and 2 small kids. But it was bigger. It was weighed more, and really I'm just trying to stay minimalistic. So yeah. So yeah, I got the dual camping mode going on, Flea. Max Roving. Have you seen the YouTuber Max Roving? He biked from Vietnam through China, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Videos are really good. So he took off that way. No, I haven't. I just ran into someone called Hobo Cyclist the other day. So right now, if you go to his channel, it's like he's almost like members only. Like every single one of his videos are members only. But his earlier stuff is all free basically. So I'm watching his earlier stuff. So Hobo Cyclist is actually pretty good. Because someone's like, have you heard of Hobo Cyclist? He's from New Zealand. I'm like, I was on a different person's channel that's doing a cheap bicycle right now through Great Britain. I posted that person's link and video on my post section. So yeah, I'm not able to follow a lot of people, but when someone pops up, I go check them out. Trying to maintain your own channel kind of takes up everything. All right, Matt, thank you. Matt just donated $5, which brings me to one last thing, guys. So, which I almost forgot. Thank you, Matt, for the nasi lemak. All right. Everybody give him a thumbs up for that. So, since I'm still building my channel and stuff, I've been struggling with that membership thing because I kind of have an issue where I kind of want everything I don't want to over commercialize my channel, but I do kind of would like to set it up where like a possibility of actually a steady secondary income that's coming in, and just to learn about how to set these things up. So I was struggling with the membership thing. You know, one is I didn't want to make members only videos and stuff because I want my videos to be open to everyone, and so I kind of did the members, but I was able to get rid of all the memberships, and just set up a very, very basic official Hobo 99-cent memberships. I'm not going to put anything else. It's just going to be 99-cent memberships. And that way I have memberships open, but it's like the minimum amount. And it's just going to be, so if you guys want to join the 99-cent club, that's the only membership I'm going to offer. I'm not going to offer $5.99 or nothing like that. That way YouTube can see that I have membership open, and anything that possibly makes them money, they might push my stuff more. But all it's going to be is, for perk-wise, while I'm still working on Max Roving's good. Okay, Matt, I'll look into them. I'll remember to do that. So that's what I settled on the membership. It's just going to be 99 cents. I figured, you know, in theory, if everybody, like, in theory, if all 2,000 people did the 99 cent, you know, it would be my 2,500 or whatever I have for subscribers, then I'd have a good income. So obviously that's in theory because there's not really 2,500 people that watch my channel. It's just that's how many people that YouTube's saying I have as members or as subscribers. I think my viewership has been steady over 1,000 though, so I'm happy about that. I was like around, so I watched it slowly climb, and I actually gained about 500 new subscribers in a month because of one of my videos had that flashy thumbnail and flashy title and stuff. But more recently, I'm not trying so hard on the thumbnails and stuff. I'm kind of just going more organic and stuff and just let my channel grow naturally. So yes, so I have 99-cent memberships. If you guys want it, that's all it's going to be. I'm not going to actually try and sell my channel on anymore. And I plan on just offering live streams. So if I get if I get a few members, I'll do like on the road live streams for the members and stuff like that. But after they've been on for a little bit, like a few days, I'll switch it where everybody can see them. I'm going to keep all my material basic. I had to offer at least one thing, you know. So outside of badges and stuff, YouTube's like, well, you got to offer something to them. I'm like, okay. I'll offer like live stream and early viewing of my videos. So when I first upload the video, it's in my private section until I can figure out the thumbnail and the title, and that takes a while. So as soon as I upload it, I'll throw it up for members to watch it even before I have the thumbnail. And so like as soon as I upload it, so for like a few hours it'll be for members only, and then once I figure the thumbnail and all that, it'll go out for general consumption. So yeah, opened up my memberships, and that's about it. Join if you want. If you don't, I'm gonna keep pretty well keep everything free anyway. Max Roving. Van, if you can actually locate my email address through the PayPal. I found that out the hard way. The email address can be a little dangerous though, when it comes to getting flooded with unwanted emails. But yeah, the PayPal in the description is already there. So if you guys want anything above the 99-cent membership, if you actually want to make a donation, buy me a cup of coffee is what I'm gonna try and set up a membership through there, a real membership. from what I understand, YouTube still tries to take out 30%. I don't know if that's true on memberships, so that's why I'm keeping it really nice and low. And yeah, like I said, I don't really want to over commercialize my channel, but I do want to try and get it more professional. Maybe one day I'll offer merch or something, but you know, this is just all like basically a big experimental game anyway. It's like, it's a hobby that I'm, you know, so Max is kind of a stuffy German. It's a bit amusing. He built a crazy following pretty quickly. Okay, sounds good. I'll look him up after I get off this. Yeah, you know, a lot of people just sometimes they're in the YouTube. I'm not going to say YouTube jail, but certain people I watch that I see just blow up. It's like the algorithm figures out the right group to send them to, and once that group actually starts subscribing and watching the videos, the algorithm goes, oh, this guy's really popular, and just sends them out to everybody. You see those people blow up, but then you see like minimalistic effort sometimes put in, and you don't quite know. So it's like YouTube a lot of times is just like, they can go a long time. Like there's a channel called We Hate the Cold, and this is one that Doug's watched kind of for a while, and I've watched 1 or 2 videos from him. He puts a lot of time and effort, at least in my, but his channel has always been pretty well flat, like not a lot of views, not for his time and effort. But just recently he had one video that blew up, gained him a lot of exposure, and now he's at that next level. But it took him a long time to get there. And so it's like the sleepiness of YouTube. And so depending on how long Max has done it, he might have been just a sleeper. Movies used to be called sleepers too. Like when a movie would come out, do crappy in the box office, but then you hit the VCR or DVD, and then just millions, you know, of rentals, you know, and we called those sleepers. And I think a lot of YouTube channels, like, I don't know, like mine is only 1,000 views on average, 2,500 subscribers. That's not a lot. When you compare that to someone a similar channel like Let's Go Cycling, he hit 10,000 no problem. You know, he gets you know, 3,000-4,000 views within just the first few hours of posting. He's an awesome dude too, but I hold him up as, you know, as because he's started his channel basically the same time I did, and he's doing the same route right ahead of me. I'm going a lot more slow, but we're also 2 different people altogether. I talk a lot more than he does, but yeah, no, he's younger than me too. He's got the good looks. I'm the old, you know, salty looking American guy that looks like he just fell off the wagon of AA or something. That's what it is. It's the search for the secret sauce, Matt. And you can listen to all the advice in the world on YouTube, but then you look at someone, like I said, Let's Go Cycling has been a secret saucer. Another one is that really got me was Homeless Kiwi in London is a secret saucer. It's funny because if you put on headphones, you watch him with his phone recording himself, it only comes out one ear, right? You're like, oh, he's in mono. And but he, like, in 4 weeks, he already surpassed me. Like, I remember watching him with he got like 1,000 subscribers in two weeks. I'm like, dude, you're going to be monetized in no time. And by 4 weeks, he's already over 2,000 subscribers. He went past me, and he was monetized in 4 weeks. I'm like, damn, that's a secret saucer right there, man. He nailed it. But now with him, he's a legit homeless person. Someone wanted to get into his comments and like, oh, you're full of bullocks, you're not really homeless. I'm like, dude, you don't know. If you look at his gear, his mannerisms, the way he scopes out, he's a true homeless person. and he's not, he doesn't, and he has the knowledge of one too. And everybody's like, well, he's going out to the wilderness. Yeah, he's setting up a winter camp. Winter's coming right now in London. And the only way you can do it is either snowbird, like go where it's warmer, or you hunker down and you make a winter camp. Otherwise, you won't survive winter. So he's going a little farther out into the sticks, away from the city. This is what you have to do. Because if you stay in the city, then you have to go in the shelter. You know, and shelters are nothing but bed bugs, lice, and people that haven't showered in 2 weeks, right? So he's going as any like bushcrafter would, you know, a homeless person with a little knowledge, you know, true vagabond. He's going out into the sticks a little more, so he can set up a good winter camp. He can have a nice fire without the cops coming in and stomping it out and giving you a ticket, you know. He's doing what a real homeless person would. So, you know, he took down that comment, but I wanted to jump in and just say, you wouldn't know a homeless person if he was peeing on you while you're sleeping, you know. Unfortunately, those people exist that want to make nasty comments. So I respect that dude. I respect his channel. I respect the time and the effort that he's trying to build his channel too. He's messing with all the settings, with the thumbnails and stuff. And he's going to lose a few subscribers because they don't like the new polished thumbnails or some stuff like this. But it's his channel. It's his experiment. And he's already monetized, so it's already his form of income. The dude also works too, which I respect that. So if you guys don't know Homeless Kiwi, jump over there, check his Homeless Kiwi in London. Jump over there, see who I'm talking about. The dude's awesome. Right now he's going a little farther out in the sticks to set up winter camp and stuff. And yeah, so anyway, I highly respect the guy. He's a real homeless person, and I respect that. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's like, so Homeless Kiwi, almost no effort in the editing, but you can see where he's trying. Now he just got a new camera because someone bought him a new camera. So that happens. A viewer like, hey, I'll buy you a camera. So he's away from his phone, and now he's got a, I'm assuming it's probably like a DJI Action or something. I don't think it's the one I got because waterproof camera makes more sense. But yeah, it's like even his shorts, yeah, like that. How is that short have 1,000 views or 2,000 views? He didn't do anything on that. He just walked through like a 7-Eleven or something, just filmed, and this is where you can get coffee, and that was it. And I'm like, and I'm not trying to talk shit, but like I'm like, I don't understand why he gets so many views, you know. So yeah, he's a secret saucer though. Definitely a secret saucer. He hit the algorithm just right. So anyway, maybe one day I'll be a secret saucer. I'm just looking for that time, that exposure. I gotta end this. Hour and a half was way too long. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining me. So the plan is Monday I'm gonna take off from here, and we're gonna be. But season 5 is the new country. Oh, if you guys don't know, seasons just mean the new country. So season 1 was Vietnam, season 2 Cambodia, season 3 was Thailand, season 4 was Malaysia. So a season just means the country. So season 5 is Indonesia. So yeah, we'll be starting that soon, guys. And make sure to be humor me and become a 99-cent members. And yeah, it's the cheapest I could go. If I could actually do 1 penny, I would do 1 penny. But I don't know how YouTube's going to take their 30% cut off of 1 penny. All right, guys. That's where I end it. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I hope it was somewhat entertaining. But yeah, an hour and a half is a long live stream. All right, guys. Peace out.